Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashy Business Show. Today is Tuesday, July 22, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warz Ahmed and we've got a packed show for you today. Firstly, we're going to get into how Egypt is planning to offer new investment opportunities to U.S. firms. Secondly, Mubadala has backed Dubai-based restaurant payment startup Qlub in $30 million funding round, and U.S. officials are currently stalling the UAE's access to Nvidia AI chips over security fears. And finally, in such an interesting turn, Elon Musk's Grok bot has accused X of censoring pro-Palestinian posts and has cited media reports in the process.
And the very first story, Egypt is taking fresh steps to deepen its economic ties with the United States. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli has directed his cabinet to prepare a new package of investment opportunities specifically for American companies. The aim is to attract greater U.S. investment into key sectors including ports, maritime transport, and industrial zones.
And this move comes as Egypt pushes ahead with its Vision 2030 strategy. It seems that everyone has a Vision 2030 and ongoing economic reform. So by showcasing priority sectors to U.S. firms, the government hopes to position Egypt as a competitive and reliable investment destination in the region, especially at a time when global markets remain uncertain.
And currently, more than 1,800 U.S. companies operate in Egypt. I'll repeat that again. 1,800 U.S. companies operate in Egypt with total investments reaching $47 billion over the past 2 decades. Officials say building on that foundation is a strategic priority for Cairo as it seeks for secure long-term, also sustainable growth through increased foreign direct investments.
And according to government statements, Egyptian authorities are working to remove obstacles to joint projects and will soon propose specific ventures to U.S. firms. So agencies have been instructed to collaborate and present clear, actionable investment packages in upcoming discussions with American stakeholders.
And as Egypt continues its outreach, it's signaling to the U.S. investors that it's open for business and deliver tangible opportunities in infrastructure, logistics, and industrial development. They're basically welcoming U.S. to Egypt to invest and make money, and in the process suck the life out of Egypt as well. Just kidding. But yeah, the move could mark a new chapter in Egypt.
Are you kidding though?
It somehow makes sense, yeah. But this move could mark a new chapter in Egypt-US economic relations with high-level talks expected to follow soon.
Look, when I think of Egypt, my mind just immediately goes to all of the beautiful artifacts that are in Egyptian history and ancient history. And a prime example that just comes to my mind immediately is the golden coffin. I don't know how to say the name properly, but I will try. So the coffin of Nejmanch, essentially what basically happened is that in 2017, I believe the, the Museum of Art in New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York apparently acquired this golden coffin from the 1st century BC from Egypt. And they apparently acquired it for $4 million. That's what was said. And you even had Kim Kardashian in the Met Gala that posed right beside it. But if you actually take a look at the entire story, apparently the coffin was actually looted from Egypt in 2011 during the Arab Spring. So when I'm taking a look at how more U.S. companies are coming into Egypt, this actually needs more surveillance than we realize. They should not just be allowed into the country immediately, because I do have this fear that they will loot more artifacts. And that is exactly what we don't want. We don't want more history being stolen. So I think the fact that in this case, Egyptian authorities are actually they're making sure that they have surveillance procedures in place is so important. They need to make sure that. Why are you laughing, Majid? No, honestly, they need to make sure that
companies are not coming to.
I know, but that's how it begins. That's how it always begins. Oh, we're in Egypt. Oh, we're stationed here.
Yeah, we're doing infrastructure this.
Exactly. So you don't want anything to be stolen in the process, especially when the country is booming right now. And this is something that a lot of Western people might ignore, but there is a lot of artifacts that have been stolen from Egypt, from Sudan, and it's all over the West. So for me, when I'm taking a look at the U.S. working with Egypt, no, it's not the U.S. that is benefiting more here. No, sorry. Let me get my mind straight here.
Egypt.
It's not Egypt who's actually benefiting more here. It's they are benefiting more here because the amount of art that is in Egypt, I mean, it is absolutely astounding. We've seen it with the Grand Museum that has just opened very recently. I mean, this is stuff that you want to keep safe and you want to preserve. Like, for example, Majid, why I spoke so quick? It's because I'm from Sudan, guys, and right now my country has a civil war that is ongoing. And right now, in one of our main museums in Khartoum, most of the artifacts have been looted. They've been looted, and apparently they're being sold off. And, these artifacts, they are such a special part of our history. They've been there for thousands of years. So for me, I would like to see more countries keep what they actually have.
Yeah, you're right in one sense.
But you find it funny. Find it funny.
The funny thing, it's not funny, it's just that I think, every country in the world, US is investing in UAE also, so I won't say that they're not. Saudi Arabia, they're investing. Like, if you talk about any big company, recently on Trump's visit, everyone of UAE, Saudi and Qatar, they signed agreements with American companies. Obviously, they're not here to loot the artifact. But your point is right on some extent. It's not only artifacts. The idea is to just come in for the resources. And it's not like you're going and mining and digging and taking the resources. It's also the idea of taking away the human capital, giving them the American dream, taking them away. Whenever there is a continent or a region which is booming, we have seen this historically. I'm not saying it's just an opinion. We have seen this historically that the Europe and US always jump in. And they're like, oh, this place is doing good. We have to go in. We have to invest in this company. They outright buy local companies and start doing business. And there is a very big example, Syria. Right now, Syria, the sanctions have been moved away. US companies, 3 of them, they just directly went and they're like, oh, we'll build your energy infrastructure. We'll build wires. We'll lay down the wires. We'll do this. We'll generate electricity. And eventually that country or that economy or that region eventually depends on them because those are private companies and they run America.
No,
basically.
but I think in the case with Syria, I definitely think that Middle Eastern investors are playing a larger role because we saw how Qatar came in right before them for that entire electricity project with them. And I think it was also Turkish companies.
We also talked about how Europe was the first one which jumped in and they were like, oh, we're supporting Syria since Bashar al-Assad is, So they started it and then Trump obviously came and said that since Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said, I am removing the sanctions. I think it was more of a Europe versus America fight to come in and find whatever they can find in that conflict-stricken economy. It's been 14 years since they've gone through so much. Under Bashar al-Assad, now Ahmad al-Shara is trying to revive the economy because without economy, you can't have a good education, you can't have good roads, you can't have electricity, you can't have food on the table. So he is trying to revive that. The only problem is that Europe came in first, America came in second. Obviously, our Middle Eastern, brotherhood is there. They've paid off their debts. They've invested so much. But we have to look at the other side. They're also coming in.
Yeah.
So that is my problem with the Western economies just jumping into any economy that is doing good and outright buying companies, investing in big companies, local big companies which have been built over 20, 30 years and just outright buying them and then taking over the economy. And you can never expect an outsider to care about your house. So that is why this story is also very important because Egypt in the short term.
That is a really deep statement. You can't expect an outsider to
Egypt,
care about your house.
100% in the short term, whenever they put up a plan, they tell American companies, sell it to American companies, they come and invest. For a short term, they'll get a lot of dollars. Obviously, you need a lot of money. The problem is, as soon as they consolidate in Egypt, we've already seen there's like 1,800 companies already in Egypt, which are American owned. I know they're everywhere. You can't really take them out. Yesterday, I was watching the lady, what's her name? The UN lady who was banned from Israel. I remembered her name just now,
Oh,
5 minutes ago.
Francesca?
Yeah,
Francesca.
Francesca Albanese. She basically published a report that it's an economy of genocide going on right now. It was an economy of occupation. Now it's an economy of genocide. She's everywhere now. She's doing videos with everyone. I think it was with Zateo that she was doing the video, and
But she might not be allowed to travel everywhere.
Yeah, she's
anytime
banned from
soon.
America, Israel, so she can't now. As a UN ambassador or a UN worker, you're allowed across the world. Now, Israel and America are banned, and most probably whenever we see maybe other countries also. The main idea of her speech was, just shortly putting it, she said that the problem is that individuals like you and me, we try to boycott these big companies, and because they're part of genocide and everything. But she was like, don't do it like 100% from day one. Don't just go in and be like, I won't eat this, I won't use this, I won't. Because you can't. They're so big and they're so everywhere that you can't stop being there. Appliances
Then what did she suggest?
So she said, do it at a very basic level, that if you can avoid McDonald's, don't eat McDonald's. If you can avoid wearing this certain brand, don't wear this certain brand. Like, start from the basic and then grow eventually into it. But she very clearly said, and I loved her honesty, that she was like, you can never 100% be independent of them. They will always be there. The only thing that you can do is hit them where it hurts and stop buying products.
Right.
But you can never do it 100%. And I was like, she's 100%
So she's
completely
basically
true.
saying that they're going to lose
Do
money,
it
but
very
they're
okay.
never going to actually die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with that perspective. By the way, guys, the coffin was returned to Egypt. It was returned to Egypt in 2019,
Nice.
and it is in one of Cairo's museums.
You go to, my wife was in Scotland.
Yeah.
She is still in Scotland. She went to a museum and she was showing me videos and pictures. I won't say the name of the last museum I went to, but a lot of museums, when you go to, the worst thing that I see there is, Indus Valley civilization, this. And there is ethical museums as well, which actually source the material from those countries. They give them payment. They rent it out, basically, that, we'll put there for like 5 years, 10 years, or this year, this season. A lot of countries don't do that, and London is full of it. The museums there, they're full of everything that was stolen from Asia when the British Empire was holding there. And it has been through colonies as well. French colonies, Spanish colonies, all the British colonies, American colonies. All these people, the big colonizers, they took stuff, and now they've put stuff in their museum, and they don't pay anything. They just took it. And that's one of the biggest concerns for me, that there should be more ethical museums. I will give you an example. In Abu Dhabi, we have Louvre, right? And Louvre, I went to Louvre, and my wife was like, why are you spending half an hour on just one section? I was like, I want to read the descriptions. And they actually said that they were ethically sourced. Wherever they came from, they were told, they told the government. There was stuff from Sudan as well, I remember. So I was like, I'm just looking at the description because it's so long, no one reads it, I think. Everyone looks at, this is a big bowl.
Or
and
sometimes it's honestly overly wordy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't blame people.
But if you actually read it, you'll realize that you're standing in a place which is ethical. And they had sources for every, like they had a whole timeline of, okay, this was found here, this went here, then. So Louvre Abu Dhabi has all the things on rent from the original Louvre, and original Louvre actually rents it out from countries. Even if they find out that this is originated from this country, they will be like, okay, we'll pay you, money, rent. I don't know how museums work, but they actually pay the countries and the governments.
But
so that's ethical sourcing.
It is, but
the one you're talking about is outright theft.
No, I just started thinking about something that you said about how, the West also took some artifacts from like South Asia, and it kind of brought me to my point of, I feel that a lot of people, we're some of these people, we've reached a point where we are woke enough to realize that Western involvement, US involvement is not always good news in Middle Eastern countries, especially like a country like Egypt that has one of the strongest economies in Africa, because while these companies may come in and they may come in with such goodwill and such great plannings. When they leave, they always leave things in ruins. And it's like, I feel like a prime example of this is like, for example, in the Indian partition, and I remember when I was reading this, I was so horrified. Apparently, when the British had actually finally left, when Mountbatten had finally left, the person who was actually in charge of basically deciding the line, Majid, apparently he had no geographical experience whatsoever. He just drew the line. That was it. That was why there was so much damage. He just he had no experience in doing that. He was not an engineer. He was not involved in geography.
Asia, Sudan?
No, in India.
Oh, India,
the
yeah.
The person who drew the line. He had no experience. He had no experience whatsoever to even be drawing that line.
Something Radcliffe. I remember, it's part of our history. It's actually, so Pakistan India history, you read any book, they're like so contrasting. Like India says this happened and Pakistan says, but there's a lot of common factors, and this is one of the common factors where he was flown in. I remember within 11 days he was just like,
He just left.
And it's a big piece of land. If you look at Pakistani history, it's so interesting. It's a big piece of land. He made Pakistan a country on two sides of India. So Bangladesh was West Pakistan and Pakistan today is East Pakistan. He was like, this. I was like, bro, what were you thinking? Like, how can you divide a country which is, so basically Pakistani version of the history is we asked independence from the rulers, Hindu rulers in that time on the basis of religion. So Pakistan is one of the countries in the world which was formed on the basis of a Muslim ideology, that Muslims need a country for them to be safe. And funnily, very interestingly, and it's a fact, it's not like some fiction or something that I came up with, Israel is the second country in the world which was also born on the basis of an religious ideology. There's only two countries in Pakistan, in the world which are born on the basis of an ideology and a religious ideology. Pakistan on the basis of Muslim and Israel Jews. And funnily, Pakistan doesn't allow their citizens with a green passport to go to Israel. We have a very clear statement on our passport that this passport works everywhere except Israel because we still don't recognize them.
I like that.
Pakistan is the only country in the world which is like we don't recognize Israel.
I think that is very commendable. I do.
But you're right. These people, the colonizers, we can go on they've been there for 200, 300 years. We can go on about stories. The idea is that Egypt is doing good. They're trying to get money because their economy is not that good as compared to their neighbors. They want money. They want foreign exchange. They want the dollar. But they need to put guardrails whenever they take an investment, and that is the main idea of the story. Put some guardrails to protect yourself.
There needs to be some kind of surveillance there. Moving to our next story. Dubai-based restaurant payment startup Qlub, which has grown quite famous, has secured $30 million in a fresh funding round aimed at accelerating its global expansion. So the round was co-led by Abu Dhabi's Mubadala, an investment company headed by Khaldoon Al-Mubarak and chaired by His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon. Now, the other partners also included Shuruq Partners and Germany's Cherry Ventures. And other major participants included UAE's telecom giant Etisalat and China's Legend Capital.
And founded in 2021, very recently, I think, at the edge of the end of
They're
the
doing
COVID.
great, though.
Yeah. Qlub, which is club. Again, I love name plays on startups. So it's QLUB, so it's club. Enables contactless payments at restaurants, so letting diners scan a QR code, split the bill, and pay instantly. The platform is already used by leading F&B brands like Paul Cafe and Wagamama, and has processed billions of dirhams in transactions across the Middle East, Asia, and Europe.
And this latest investment brings Qlub's total funding to $72 million in just 4 years. It also reflects a growing appetite for digital payment solutions and hospitality tech, especially from institutional investors like Mubadala, who continue to back homegrown innovation with global potential.
And Qlub plans to use the capital to deepen its footprint in existing markets, launch in new regions, and upgrade its platform with advanced analytics and obviously AI tools. The company is positioning itself as a leader in the next phase of tech-driven dining experiences.
And this deal comes amid a broader surge in Middle East startup activity And this is honestly, truly so inspiring. VC funding has hit $1.35 billion in the first half of 2025. And this is really telling us how much the region's tech ecosystem is growing. But like, let's get into Qlub, on a general note.
Yeah.
Why is this big news? In fact, Qlub has already expanded into so many countries in the world, and the fact that they were founded in 2021. But for me, what particularly stood out to me was their founder. So it was founded by Iyad Al-Kasir and Mahmoud Fouz, and both of these people were a part of that ecosystem that Qlub is now a part of. So you have Al-Kasir, and he basically worked for the company called Rocket Internet Middle East. And if you know, Rocket Internet at some point had basically acquired Talabat for about $160 million, and then Delivery Hero bought Talabat from Rocket Internet. And then you have Mahmoud Fouz, who actually worked for Namshi. And he also worked for a company called Snap. And basically, Snap is the leading ride-hailing app in Iran. So you know that these people are very experienced. They're stretched out across multiple markets. And this is what brought them to this product over here. And for me, Majid, like, I've noticed these people, they all run in the same circles. Like, you would honestly not believe how shocked I was when I discovered that Hassam Arab, the founder of Tabi, he's also the co-founder of Namshi.
Yeah.
And then you have Namshi then being acquired by Noon, Mohammed Al-Abbar, and then you have the same co-founder, Firas, who then moved on to become the CEO of Noon Minutes.
Yeah.
All of these people run in the same circles. They all know each other, and that's why they're all able to build these products that can succeed in this ecosystem that we're in.
I think it's very important that all of these people, they were part of the initial startups. Right now, we see Hub 71 has like a list of 200, 300 plus startups. In Dubai DIFC, there's so many startups. DMCC has a crypto center, a startup center. There's so many hubs now where startups are brewing, and there's good environment for them to grow, and they have access to funding and everything. The funny thing is, at their time, when Namshi was created, all these startups were created, no one was looking at Middle East, right? They didn't look at Middle East as right now that we have Abu Dhabi, the capital of capital, the richest city in the world. We didn't have Dubai as like the hub of private wealth. We didn't have Riyadh as the hub of everything happening in Saudi Arabia and then Jeddah and all.
Right now, Saudi's leading the VC funding run, in fact. Like, they've had...
The funny thing is, it's all Saudis investing in Saudis.
Yeah.
It's all inward investment.
And I think,
Such nice
that's
thing.
really good. But you know what it also is with Saudi? Like, something that I feel like no one has truly deeped this, and it's like, I feel like Western media, people in general, need to cut Saudi some slack in terms of how, they go after their economy constantly. They're lacking in this, they're lacking in that. And it's like, for a country that was so closed for so long, weren't cinemas banned at some point?
Yeah.
For a country that was closed for so long, and they've just very recently opened up everything all at once. Of course, what's going to happen is you're going to have this entire community that's going to have to rediscover everything all over again. And when I say rediscover everything, I don't even mean industries like obviously engineering, medicine. Those are things that professions stay stable in every single society. But you're going to have people who suddenly want to learn how to become directors, producers, filmers, and that is something that is going to take time, and I'm excited to see what they actually get to by 2030.
Yeah, I think it's already grown up to be $1 million industry, the movie industry. Our Smashy Entertainment, Ishraq, keeps doing stuff about it. Sometimes we do the business angle. But the funny thing is that they haven't taken long. It was the demand was there, but yeah, as soon as it came, people are crazy. I think you should see one of them because they're in Arabic. I don't understand them, and I don't really like dubbings. Even with all the shows which came out in different, like Squid Games, I watched it with original audio, but I then put subtitles because the original audio is so much better than the dubbing. They changed the voice of the actor, and I'm like, doesn't match his actual face.
You know what, Majid?
Right?
I do
It's
that
so
with
weird.
the Turkish shows. I would rather read the English subtitles than hear the weird English voices.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're doing voiceover, it's a suggestion. Please do a voiceover. Like if it's a guy, just match his voice. At least make it make sense. So spend like a little more on that. But yeah, listening to all the shows in actual language, La Casa de Papel, Money, actual Spanish, it sounds so much better because you can feel the emotion in the
I thought
language,
it was just
right?
me magic. I would never listen to it in English.
It's a very, I think, common thing now because people have realized dubbings are so bad. I think they're like, okay, just whatever pennies we have left, just put it on dubbing. We'll put it in the original everything production. But yeah, it's a growing industry, and Saudi is growing, and this is one of the signs that what they started with actually, that all these people, all the big names that you see right now, they just didn't overnight appear out of nowhere.
Exactly.
They actually worked hard on startups in the start.
That's what they make you think, because their founder stories are so good, but when you actually get into it, no, they all know each other. And Majid, like, off topic, but since we spoke about Egyptian companies today, have you noticed how every single Egyptian company that we cover has like 5 founders?
Yeah.
I cannot be
It's
the
a
only
group of
person
friends.
that has clocked this. It's like 4 to 5 friends. I need them to like fortify their branding. I really do. Because when it's like 5 people, as like a consumer myself, and I'm somebody who wants to hero someone, I want to be obsessed with, I don't know who to choose. Like really, I feel really guilty when I'm writing stories about you guys, because in the end, I just end up choosing the guy who's the CEO and also the co-founder, and I lead with him, but I feel like they need to work on their branding there.
Yeah,
Too many people.
But it's a very nice concept that they don't just randomly one guy who has a lot of money from I don't know where, he just randomly comes up with an idea and makes it $1 billion company. It's actually 2-3 people. It's a nice entrepreneurial culture. It shows you that in university they're not thinking about just working for some brand or some company. They're actually thinking about what can we do. And we've done so many Egyptian stories. The Meta AI guy we did yesterday.
Gameball, they also have a bunch of founders.
So,
even Swivel, I think it's 3 best friends.
But we usually see the first guy, but it's also 3 people. M&T Halan is like one of their, I was doing research on something, the unicorns of the region. M&T Halan, a lot of people don't know because it's not a flashy startup. It's a very fintech, very technical startup. But a lot of people, it had 3 founders, 1 guy exited, now it's 2 founders, and now they became a unicorn. So the first guy, I think, would be unhappy that I left before being part of a unicorn. But yeah, all of them, you go and find their stories. We try to do their stories. What is doing a good job with the Dreamer series. But yeah, we try to find their stories because their stories are not like 2-3-year-old. They're actually 10, 15-year-olds since the start.
They've been around for a while. And something that is honestly taking way too long is the UAE not receiving its Nvidia AI chips from the United States yet. Essentially what basically happened is the United States is delaying the Nvidia AI chips that are meant to arrive in the United Arab Emirates. So that's according to the Wall Street Journal, which basically reported that this holdup is affecting a major deal which was signed in May during President Trump's visit to Abu Dhabi.
And the agreement included an annual supply of 500,000 Nvidia chips and the development of a 5 gigawatt AI data center in Abu Dhabi. The facility was expected to host top US AI firms, ChatGPT, first of all, and form a core part of the UAE's growing AI infrastructure.
So at the center of the U.S. government's concern is G42, the Abu Dhabi-based AI firm with historic ties to China. So under the current plan, G42 was set to receive around 20% of those 500,000 advanced Nvidia AI chips. So while the agreement includes what is described as strong security guarantees, some U.S. officials remain skeptical, fearing potential Chinese access to sensitive tech, even though this makes no sense whatsoever because Donald Trump, the Trump administration, literally just approved China getting access to Nvidia chips. Jensen Huang has been able to actually convince him.
He's the only person who has been able to convince him. So the U.S. Commerce Department is now weighing new export restrictions, and some officials are calling for G42's direct access to the chips to be blocked entirely. And this is not a new conversation. It happened back in 2018, 2019 also. These internal debates are complicating the path forward even as US firms prepare to enter the UAE market.
And so talks are ongoing, and Secretary Howard Lutnick has expressed optimism that the plan will eventually move forward, but without further safeguards, the current delay could stretch, casting uncertainty over one of the region's most ambitious AI partnerships. Honestly, I think this is so unfair. They're not holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And honestly, like now that I think about it, it's unfair that they're even just giving them 20%. Basically, what the entire deal was that G42 gets 20%, and then companies, American companies that choose to build AI data centers in the United Arab Emirates, they get about 80% of those AI chips. So I'm basically talking about Microsoft, Oracle, and I think that's completely unfair. Like, what? So basically, for you guys to get like 20% of them, not only do you have to stop trading with China, you need to let us, walk into your country and build data centers there, and we're going to get 80% of that shipment. I think that's so unfair. I do.
It's a problem that G42 has faced over a lot of years. It's one of the companies, again, chaired by His Highness Sheikh Tanoon. The story goes very simply that G42 was built on the base of Chinese tech. 100% Chinese tech, Huawei and all that. The problem came when Nvidia came up with the newer chips, more faster chips, more advanced chips, better computing power, and they wanted those. And they were like, no, we're not going to give it to you because you do trade with China. And UAE was like, we do trade with everyone. Why are you putting restrictions on us? And they put up, and all of this is reported. It's not confirmed by the government, by G42, by anyone. But obviously, over the years, there's been so much reporting on it.
Yeah.
And the idea was that, okay, we'll remove everything Chinese from our centers and we'll put everything American.
But they can't remove Peng Zhao.
Yeah.
By the way, the group CEO of G42 is Chinese.
Yeah.
And you know what Wikipedia told me, Majid? Apparently, this man had an American citizenship,
Nice.
but he renounced it for the Emirati citizenship, as he should.
And as he should. Yeah, I would do it right now.
That is the best passport in the world.
Yeah. And then obviously they did put everything US, and even then the US Commerce Department, the whole Senate, everyone has still doubts that, oh no, behind the scenes they're doing trade with China. Behind the scenes they're sending the chips, receiving the chips and reselling them to China at a premium.
It's like their fear of communism still exists.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense. And this time, it's not even Russia, it's China.
Yeah, it's a sellable idea. That's the problem. They can't sell people on, oh, we have poverty because we have bad policies. Oh, we have this because this. Oh, we have capitalism. That is why rich are getting richer and poor are getting poorer. They just sell communism to save themselves from explaining the original reality on ground. That, oh, it's because of our bad fiscal policies. It's because of so much debt that we have. I think when the Trump tariffs were announced in May, March or April, March end, I remember we did the story that's nearly $2 trillion of US bonds. It's very complicated to understand it, but very simply put, the US economy has these bonds. And the state bank gives it to you. On the basis of those bonds, if you buy those bonds, they can print more money. Very simply explaining, it's very complicated than that. But China owns $2 trillion of that bond. So it's actually China that nearly owns like at least 10 to 15% of the US economy. So you have to understand that they're not doing anything. It's their bad policies that are making them scared of China, because China is like, oh, we work and we do nothing. We don't believe in politics. We just want to work. We want to produce efficiency.
You're basically saying that Jensen Huang's Nvidia chips are like their main bargaining point, and they just don't want to let go of that. And you know what I wish it was with the U.S.? I wish instead of attacking China, they'd maybe attack on ground, go after people like Bill Ackman, who's getting university students kicked out, who's getting students from Harvard University who are protesting against the genocide in Palestine to not get jobs, who's asking Harvard University, by the way, to reveal people who have signed pro-Palestinian papers. I wish they'd go after billionaires like that, but instead they keep going after China, even though China has, one of the greatest GDPs in the world, greatest economy. I mean, I'd want to work with her. That's what I'd want to do. I'd want to be friends. But
So moving on. Since he was talking about Palestine, the next story is also about Palestine. Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok, which was in deep waters like 2-3 weeks ago, calling itself Mecha Hitler and
now it's
whatnot.
drowning.
And now it's doing something else. It has stirred controversy after acknowledging claims that X, formerly known as Twitter, is limiting pro-Palestinian content. But there is a caveat. In response to a user question, Grok cited reports from, I don't know, it's called Hamle and Hamla and Al Jazeera, alleging that the platform suppresses support for Gaza while allowing anti-Palestinian hate speech.
So the exchange began when human rights advocate Rami Abdu asked Grok whether X downranks posts about Gaza, basically whether it makes them visible or not, and the chatbot responded yes and pointed to multiple media investigations that support the claim. In other instance, when a user accused Elon Musk of supporting the genocide in Gaza, Grok ended up actually referencing Musk's 2023 meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Rolling Stone's exclusive piece of Musk labeling the phrase "from the river to the sea" as genocidal rhetoric.
Yeah, and despite Grok's apparent candor about Musk and X, the AI tool has sparked outrage on its own. Recently, it was condemned for a troubling answer in which it named Adolf Hitler, the name that cannot be taken, as the best 20th century figure to handle anti-white hate. It was a very twisted, weird happening that happened. We'll give you more details, but it raised a lot of serious concerns about content moderation and training biases about AI.
And just to give you some more context, guys, about X, basically Elon Musk acquired X in 2022 for $44 billion with significant investments from the Middle East. So the second largest stakeholder is Saudi's Prince Al-Walid bin Talal's Kingdom Holding Company. Other stakeholders include Qatar Investment Authority, Amman Investment Authority, and UAE's MGX Global.
And as AI tools like Grok become more visible, their responses and the data behind them are increasingly under scrutiny. Whether Grok's answers reflect transparency or training flaws, the controversy highlights broader tensions between free speech, censorship, and influence on global tech platforms.
I think in this case, it's like when, something you created works against you. It's just so ironic here. It's so ironic here that the tool that he created is exposing him, and
The funny thing is he hates legacy media. He's always criticizing legacy media for reporting this. But its own chatbot, the chatbot that he's trained on data, something, whatever, whenever you ask him a question, he will quote you legacy media. He can't quote anyone else. That's a problem with Grok and any AI. You go to them and ask them anything, they will always quote legacy media. They'll be like, oh, Al Jazeera did this report, CNN this report.
Because they've been around for years.
Yeah,
they are reliable.
If you have a problem, go and somehow don't let X quote legacy media.
No, don't give him ideas, Majid.
No.
I love this.
It's very simple. If you think that you've created a platform for free speech and you've created a platform which is against the ethics or the morals or the workings of legacy media, like the big publications, Wall Street Journal, this, that, then create a platform which can do its own research, which can do everything on its own. It can't. That is why we have legacy media. I'm not in favor of legacy media, whatever they say is true, but at least they have a team in the back, reporters who are working, who find sources, who take documents, read documents, find a story from it. They do the work, right? They just don't come up with stuff. A lot of them do, but now a lot of them do, but there's good publications, and every publication has its good and bads. You can't say Wall Street Journal is outright 100% bad. Some of the pieces that they do actually changes the Epstein story, the Hollywood director story who they made a movie about also. All these guys, they were actually caught by journalists. They went to sources, they did the footwork, they did so much, and then eventually those people were caught, right?
And now Grok is doing the footwork for us. Yeah. It's telling us exactly what we need to know. But imagine, I feel like we haven't discussed the main part of the story. I think the entire thing here is the fact that not only are there shadow bans on Instagram,
Yeah.
you also have a platform like X that is limiting your voice, and that it's so unfortunate. We're
Yeah.
currently seeing how so many Palestinians are starving, and they don't have access to food, and they're dying from malnutrition. And you have a platform like X led by the richest man in the world that is not putting that content out.
Yeah.
And I think in this case, it's almost that Grok revealed that Musk too is complicit in what is happening, and 100% so, because
Yeah.
they're silencing people. They are. They're not letting
According to
people.
Al Jazeera, CNN, all the sources that X has cited, we didn't, okay? We're not saying Musk
Yeah.
is complicit. It's actually his chatbot, which is citing like multiple sources. I saw throughout the story, the CNN quoted, Al Jazeera quoted, what was the name of Hamle.
Hamle was
I
also.
always forget that the 7 is actually like ha, so it's Hamle. And multiple sources. It's quoted so many sources and saying that, oh yes, it's doing that. So you have to just figure out if either X is wrong or all those publications that X is quoting wrong, or the world's richest man is complicit. That is for you to decide, and maybe X.
It is for you to decide. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashy Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all of our social media channels at Smashy Business, and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashy Business Show, a Smashy Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our 2 million monthly listeners clapping. Yeah, but we've crossed the 2 million mark. I'm very happy. Everyone is really happy. So under Augustus Media, we have Love and Brand.
Majid will make sure to celebrate it every single day.
Yeah. So under the Augustus Media brand, we have the Love and Brand. We have 22 cities. We have so many podcasts on so many cities. If you're in one of those cities, you can listen to that. For Smashy, we have right now this Smashy Business Show, Smashy Sports Show, and Smashy Entertainment Show in Word's voice. So you can listen to that. It's on the listening platforms, all the listening platforms. So yeah, we have so many podcasts. Whatever your interest is, whatever your poison is, just go and enjoy. And yeah, keep listening, keep sharing with the people. And if you find us interesting, if you find us entertaining and informative, just let us know. We love the feedback. So thank you so much. See you tomorrow.